Hello, welcome to the session. So as part of this session, we plan to focus on giving you a quick overview of Lumira 2.x strategy and direction and an update on how we are progressing towards it with Lumira 2.0, followed by a lot of interesting demo of Discovery and Designer, which are the components of Lumira 2.0. So as part of this session today, we will be focusing an overview as well as most of the time on the demo. So as we are going to talk about the planned innovation, that's the strategy, direction, and the plans for Lumira 2.0, a quick glance at legal disclaimer before we get into the details, as the scope and plan from SAP can change any point of time. So let me start with a quick overview of Lumira 2.x strategy and direction. So as we speak today, we have two different products for data discovery and application building. Based on customer feedback that we have too many tools with different use cases and strengths with no reusability between them, as part of Lumira 2.x, we plan to deliver one converged product, that is Lumira 2.x, covering both data discovery and application building use cases, and also extending the strength of each of these products to other, that is the current Lumira and Design Studio. While doing this, we are also planning to make sure we respect the expectations of different personas, that is the business users and the IT users, by delivering two different experiences to provide modern experience to find the insight in the data for business users using the flexibility delivered as part of the discovery tool, which we today call as Lumira, and for the application developers, plan to deliver the flexibility to create custom applications based on the requirement using the designer tool, which we call today as Design Studio. So as part of Lumira 2.x, Lumira and Design Studio would be bundled under one product family as Discovery and Designer, with different experiences and different flexibility depending on the business and the application developers. Having said that, both of these experiences, that is Discovery and Designer, are planned to be delivered on common technology framework, utilizing the common components, as you can see at the bottom of the slide. That's why we are calling this as one product with two experiences for different personas. To further simplify, we are rewriting the existing Lumira using Design Studio runtime that we plan to call as Discovery. With this, we are planning to deliver interoperability between the tools to help business and IT to work together by extending the content created by each other, and that's possible because of the common technology framework and the components and the runtime utilized by both of these client experiences, that's Discovery and Designer. Moving on, let me share with you high-level architecture overview and highlight few of the important capabilities we plan to deliver with the Convergence in Lumira 2.x. As you know, we have a really good offline analysis capability with the use of in-memory engine, which we also call as velocity engine, in Lumira, and a great online connectivity to BW and HANA via BIX connectivity in Design Studio today. In Lumira 2.x, we are bringing velocity engine and BIX together on a common runtime, which can be utilized by both client experiences, that is Discovery and Designer. With this, we plan to deliver BW online analysis in Discovery, utilizing the strength of BIX connectivity, which is available in Design Studio today, and a capability to build offline applications from the acquired data in Designer, utilizing the strength of velocity engine packaged and delivered with Lumira today. So this is how, using one combined runtime, we are planning to extend the strength of each of the products we have individually today to 2 different experiences on 2.x. And additionally, we would also be delivering one add-on on the BI platform for both Discovery and Designer. Unlike today, where you have to install, update, and manage 2 add-ons for both Lumira and Design Studio. With this, we do plan to reduce the total cost of ownership for maintaining the solution. Lumira 2.0 would be the first release based on this strategy, which is planned to be RTC mid-April, followed by the early adopter and GA. With this release itself, we would be delivering most of the important capabilities I highlighted earlier as part of the Convergence strategy. Just to summarize, as part of Lumira 2.0, we plan to deliver interoperability between business and IT users to work together by delivering the capability to extend the stories created in Discovery using the components and the scripting and the CSS capability we have in Designer to help organizations where the business users can analyze, find the insight in the data, and application developers can take up that story, make the necessary changes to turn it to operationalized or corporate dashboards. And with 2.0 itself, we do plan to deliver BW online analysis in Discovery with making use of the Discovery user experiences. The business users can analyze the data coming from the BW system by connecting to the BEX query and taking advantage of all the elements and the properties set on the BEX query. So here we are combining strength of 2 products together. There is the usability and the experience of the data discovery tool, Designer, Discovery, and also the functional support of Design Studio while connecting to the underlying BEX query. As part of Designer, as I mentioned earlier, we do plan to deliver capability to build offline applications. So as part of Lumira 2.0, you can make use of Discovery to connect to universals or third-party OLTP systems, acquire the data, prepare the data, and make use of this prepared data in Designer to build applications just like how we build today applications using Design Studio by connecting to BW and HANA in an online mode. Just to give you an example, with this approach, we would be addressing the concerns what a lot of customers have today, that while connecting to Universe as a source in Design Studio, there is a limit of 20K rows, beyond which it wouldn't function as expected. So we are addressing all such use cases with the offline application building capability in Designer with 2.0 by making use of the velocity engine of Lumira to support all these data which is acquired and offline, which can be extended via analysis applications in Designer. And as part of this, we will also be delivering one add-on on the BI platform for both Discovery and Designer, which would manage the runtime for the content created out of Discovery and Designer, as the file format or the output from Discovery and Designer is going to be common. Additionally, we would be revamping the experience of Discovery based on the feedback we have got from customers for existing Lumira 1.x today as part of 2.0. With all these changes in design and architecture, let me assure you, we are planning to respect your existing investment on Lumira and Design Studio. With Lumira 2.0 Designer and BI add-on, you can continue to use your existing Design Studio 1.6 applications with no changes using compatibility mode, which we plan to deliver as part of 2.0. If you wish to take advantage of new features delivered as part of Lumira 2.0 Designer. You just need to open the existing 1.6 applications in Lumira Designer and save them back to convert it to the new format. The only prerequisite for this conversion is to make sure that all your 1.6 applications are making use of .m components, not the common libraries, because in Lumira 2.0 we are only supporting .m components. In case of Lumira Stories, unlike Design Studio, there won't be a compatibility mode. However, we plan to provide automatic conversion to a new format when the document is open in Discovery or on the BI add-on. So as soon as you upgrade your environment or the client to 2.0 and open the existing 1.x content, the application would take care of automatic conversion for you and your end users. Additionally, the extensions what you have developed, whether it's a visualization extension or data access extension, which you have been using respectively on Lumira and Design Studio today, would continue to work with Discovery and Designer. And also, if you have a CWOM extensions, visualization extensions created either for Lumira and Design Studio, those would work on both Discovery and Designer. So, as I mentioned earlier, we are planning to take care of all your existing investments on Lumira and Design Studio 1.x when you upgrade to Lumira 2.0. With Lumira 2.0, we are not only planning to deliver one Converge product, but also working on delivering enhancements across the product functionalities based on the feedback we have received so far on Lumira and Design Studio 1.x. In the interest of time, I will be going through the details of enhancements on all these areas. Rather, try to demo a few of those as part of the session today and share the detailed enhancements as part of the appendix, as part of the slide which we are going to share later for your reference. So with this, let me quickly jump on to Lumira Discovery for the demo. So you can see here on my screen the new home screen for Lumira 2.0 Discovery. Couple of things to highlight here are, as part of the revamp of Lumira user experience, in the home screen we have taken care of making sure, irrespective of where the end user wants to start his analysis and data discovery, all the starting points are available in one screen. That is, as a user, I can connect to any of the sources, that's BW and HANA, in a live or import mode, or to Universe, Excel, and acquire the data, start analyzing, or make use of the already created connections and straight away get into analysis. Or even I can simply open the existing story and continue my analysis from there. I can very easily switch between the content I have on my desktop to access the content which is shared with me on the BI platform, just with a single click. And also, one more important thing to highlight here is that as Lumira 2.0 Discovery, the SAP BW download as well as SAP Universe Query panel connections are installed and available for the end users by default after the installation of the client. Unlike Lumira 1.x, where this had to be installed by the end users using the extension manager. So we are trying to make sure as an end user, right after installation, they get the connection to SAP BW and SAP along with HANA and other sources right away, and they can start connecting and analyzing data on those sources. For the demo, first I would like to start with the acquired data. So in this case, I'm making use of already created connection where I have the data coming from marketing campaign analysis, and I click on Start Visualizing. So just like Lumira 1.x, in Lumira 2.0 Discovery, when we acquire the data gets uploaded into the in-memory engine, that's the velocity engine, which is bundled along with the client. So once the data is uploaded, as an end user, I can start doing my analysis. So as you can see here on the screen, one major difference compared to Lumira 1.x to Lumira 2.0 Discovery is we do not have the concept of multiple rooms anymore. So in Lumira 2.0 Discovery, what we have done is we have put together all the capabilities we had in the three different rooms, that is prepare, visualize and compose in Lumira 1.x into one canvas, and delivering those capabilities of each row in context of the objects and the user actions. We are doing this based on feedback what we have received from the customers. The three rooms have been very sequential and introduced rework for the end users when they had to switch from one room to another room, and also losing context of their analysis in the task of the sequential demand of the tool. So here, let me make you familiar with the approach for all the different capabilities we have in Lumira 2.0 Discovery for discovering and analyzing the data. So on the left hand side, we have a dataset object panel. So after acquiring or connecting to a source in live mode, you would see the measures and dimensions listed here. So I can make use of this list to prepare, enrich and enhance my data, which was typically available in a prepare room in Lumira 1.x. I can simply click on one of the objects here, and I get a quick context menu with the options available for me to enhance and enrich this object what I have acquired. Or I can simply right click and get all the available functionalities to work on this object. So let me enrich this data set by creating a geo hierarchy. So now I can make the alignment and confirm. I click on done. I have just now enhanced or enriched my data set by creating a geography hierarchy right here. Or I can go into the data view. We are providing this capability for the users who are comfortable with analyzing the data in the grid view. So I can simply switch my view, start analyzing my data by selecting different columns and looking at the summary in terms of the distinct values and the number of records to find the insight in the data using this view. Even in this view, I can continue with the data preparation just by clicking on a column name, or by right click, I get the context menu and start cleansing or enriching data. So for example, I can make use of the contextual options and do a bit of data cleansing. For example, I replace retail store to retail S and click on apply. I just updated my data set here as per my requirement. Or I can get into a faceted view to analyze my data with the distinct values and the occurrences, and also to identify the relation with these values in the other columns. So once I am done with this kind of analysis, I can move back to my storyboard or the canvas to continue my analysis. As I mentioned earlier, this is an option provided for the end users who are comfortable of analyzing the data in a grid view. However, for your data enrichment and enhancement requirements, it's not necessary to change your view. You can simply get everything done right from the data object panel as well. So now let me start analyzing the data using the visualization. So I have a ghost chart available here by default already. So what I can do is I can simply drag and drop dimensions and measures to start analyzing the data. So here I'm analyzing interactions by communication type. Just like the acquired object, even for the visualization, we have quick context menu where I can start making use of the analysis feature to continue my analysis. So using the ranking icon under the quick context menu, I'm quickly ranking this visualization based on top 3 interactions. Or I can also right click on this visualization and get all the available analysis capabilities like reference lines, calculations, color palettes, and all these capabilities. Or I can also get into the maximize mode to have a focused analysis on this visualization. So while doing this analysis, I want to compare how my interactions are doing against the customer satisfaction score. So I can make use of the data enhancement capabilities available right in the data object panel to change the aggregation of customer satisfaction score from sum to average. So as you can see here, I can do any of these operations at any point of time depending on the progress of my analysis instead of moving across the different rooms as earlier. So I can simply drag and drop customer satisfaction score into the axis. And as you can see here on the screen, this is not the right chart type to visualize this data because the values for customer satisfaction score and interactions are very different. So what I can do here is I can simply convert this chart and assign a secondary axis to customer satisfaction score to have a better visualization based on the progress of my data discovery. Or I can also turn this into a combined chart by changing the representation from bar to a line for the customer satisfaction score. So as you can see here on the screen, as part of 2.0, we are enhancing the visualizations to deliver capability where the progress of the data discovery by the end user, depending on the properties, they can arrive at a right visualization to represent the data rather than starting with the right visualization type upfront. And I can get into the design mode and start working on the chart properties. For example, I can simply change the bar color and minimize it. And when I go back to the canvas, whatever the changes I have done in terms of the chart properties are retained. And I can continue to do those changes even in the canvas mode. So unlike in Lumira 1.x, where once you make changes in visualization or compose row, you have to redo all the formatting, is being addressed with the new approach of experience we are taking as part of 2.0, where irrespective of which mode you are in, all the changes you make to the chart properties in the design mode would be retained across. Now let me continue with highlighting few more enhancements what we are delivering on the visualization. The next visualization I want to highlight for a couple of enhancements is the waterfall chart. So let me start analyzing interactions by base. So here is my waterfall chart. I can go to design tab and I want to highlight here as part of Lumira 2.0, we are planning to deliver capability to highlight increasing and decreasing values on a waterfall chart with the different color and also have a total representation for the waterfall chart. So in this case, I just have the increasing values, but in your data, if you have a decreasing value, it would make use of the assigned color for the increasing and decreasing values as you have defined. The another visualization is a stack bar or column chart where we are delivering a couple of enhancements. So let me start analyzing interactions by channel and communication type. Now I can enable the data labels as well as show total of each of the bar for the stack column or bar chart, which is not possible earlier. So you can create a total value and display a data label for total value for the entire bar based on the stack you have created. A few more enhancements on the geomaps. So I can continue to make use of geomaps, and I can simply drag and drop the objects onto the geomap to see and visualize my data. As you can see here, based on the geo hierarchy, it focused on the United States, as I just have the values for the United States, or I can go into the maximize mode. And I can add additional layers, which was possible earlier. The only enhancement in Lumira 2.0 Discovery is you can create different layers with the different data sets. So you can use completely two different data sets to create the layers on top of the visualization. In this case, let me make use of the same data set to create the another layer. And in this case, I want to analyze my data based on city. And I can also make use of clustering the bubbles to have a better visualization of how my interactions are distributed across different cities. And once I'm done with this analysis, the other interesting thing what I want to highlight here is, as part of Lumira 2.0, we are providing Esri as a default mapping solution. If you want to make use of the offline map, which we ship with the Navtech bundling, you can simply switch between them right here. And also, you can have map title as part of 2.0 Discovery. So I can provide a title to this geomap visualizations, which were not possible earlier. Now let me move on with a couple of more visualization and show you interesting enhancements on the pie chart. So I'm analyzing interactions by communication type with the pie chart, and as you can see here on the visualization, the data labels are outside the pie slice to make it more readable. So this is an enhancement what we are delivering as part of 2.0, and also you have a control in terms of what do you want to display as a data label, just a category name, you just want to display the percentage or the value, you can make those selections. Now let me make use of a line chart to analyze interactions by date. So I drag and drop interactions and date from the data object panel. And I can turn this line chart in and make use of the properties available for the line chart in 2.0 to smoothen the line. So as you can see, the line is smoothened. And also one more important functionality what I want to show you here is, just like the previous release, I can show the data label, but the interesting capability we have extended is with the hide the overlapping labels. So you can now hide the overlapping labels for all the visualizations as part of 2.0 Discovery. The application will take care of identifying the overlaps and just representing the labels which are readable. Now I want to create a conditional formatting on my stack column chart. So just like Lumira 1.8, I can create conditions in 2.0 Discovery, but what I want to highlight here is, along with measures, we support creating conditions on dimensions values as well with 2.0 Discovery. So in this case, I want to create a condition where communication type is equal to Facebook, and I want to highlight it with a different color. So let me highlight it with and click on OK. As you can see here, the stack representing the value for Facebook has been highlighted with a color or a condition what I created. Not only that, we are making these conditions, whether created on measures or dimensions, reusable across the story. So the condition what I created earlier on a stacked bar chart can be reused on a pie chart. So I'm applying the same condition, and as you can see the change with respect to the condition applied. So you can make use of this feature to create or assign a specific color to different dimension values and respect it across the story for all the visualization. Another interesting thing what I just want to highlight here is, as part of Lumira 2.0, we plan to have 12 color palettes instead of 9 palettes what we had earlier. 12 color palettes. Now let me go ahead and share with you a couple of interesting enhancements we are doing on the cross tab. So now I have just inserted the cross tab here. Let me just get into the maximize mode and start analyzing cross tab. So with cross tab, I want to analyze interactions by the geo hierarchy. Now what I can do as part of 2.0 Discovery is I can drill down and drill by, which was not possible earlier. So I can simply drill down from country to region, or I can make use of drill by to retain region as a column and display the next flavor based on the drill I did on Colorado. Or I can simply cancel this drill and continue with my analysis. So I want to add customer satisfaction score for my analysis. So I can simply drag and drop customer satisfaction score in between sub-region and interactions. To add it to my visualization. For example, I can take opportunities and this topic here that would update my cross tab with the additional field, just to make the experience better for the end users for analysis. Or I can also create totals just by right clicking and saying show total, and my values get updated based on the total. One important thing what I want to highlight here is interactions is aggregated using sum, customer score is aggregated using average. So when you do a total, both sum for interaction, average for customer satisfaction score would be displayed on the same row, unlike earlier where it used to repeat it into multiple rows. And also I can make use of other capabilities like swap access, formatting to continue with my analysis, or do a number formatting. For example, I can assign a scaling factor, click on OK, and have an option to display the scaling factor on top and change the values based on the scaling factor. So once I'm done with my analysis, I can just minimize this and get back to the canvas. So now let me move around a couple of these visualizations to create some space for further analysis. So as you can see, I can do a multiple selection, and when I move, if you see my screen, the movement is pixel by pixel. So as part of Lumira 2.0 Discovery, I can align these visualization with a pixel perfect layout than having a dependency on a snap view or a view. Now what I want to highlight here is the enhancements on the filters and input controls what we plan to deliver as part of 2.0. So let me move around the visualizations a bit. Okay. On the top, we have a filter icon. So when I click on the filter icon on a global toolbar, I see a filter bar. To create filters, what I can do is I can click on a filter icon and start creating filters by selecting the operator. In this case, I want to create filter on interactions less than a certain value. Let me choose the maximum value, click on OK. And now the filter has been created with the scope of the page. So this filter would be applied only to this page. Let me create another filter on date. So now I want to change the scope from current page to all stories. Okay, again here I want to say less than. I can select the values right from here using the date picker or from the list of values as well. Click on OK, and now I have just created a filter at a story level. Okay, and as you can see here, we have an icon to differentiate the scope of the filters upfront. We further continue and create a filter on communication type and click on OK. I would like to further continue and create a filter on channel. Again, keep the scope for the page and click on OK. I just now created filters on the numeric dimensions and the dimension values with the different scope of page and the entire story. I can also create a filter on a visualization as part of 2.0. So in this case, I just select country and select the value, click on OK. So as you can see here on the screen, we are also delivering the contextual information on the filters applied to understand how the data you are looking at is arrived at. Here I have selected this visualization where I have created a couple of story and page level filters and a visualization level filter which are highlighted with the different icons. Now when I actually select a different visualization, the visualization level filter what I applied on the waterfall chart is not displayed anymore because that is not in the context of the bar chart what I am right now analyzing. So now I want to create an input control based on these filters. Before doing that, another important thing I want to highlight on the filters is as part of 2.0, you can create multiple conditions within a filter just by clicking on the plus icon here. So you can have multiple conditions without hitting a single filter definition. Now I can actually start dragging and dropping these filters onto the canvas. So I drag and drop communication type onto the canvas. Now the application shows me different control types which I can make use of. So as part of 1.x, we just had drop down and list box. In 2.0, we are extending that with the additional control types. So for now, let me make use of list box to display the filter values. And let me drag and drop channel here. And what I want to do is I want to use a text box. So this is a new control what we are planning to deliver as part of 2.0, where you can simply type in the values in the text box to filter the content. And I can also drag and drop date onto the canvas. As this is a date object, we get a date picker. And for the interactions, I can drag and drop onto the canvas. Because it's a numeric dimension, we will get a slider as an additional component. So these are the new components what we plan to deliver as part of 2.0 to enable interactivity for the business users. So let me do a bit of rearrangement here to have all the values displayed. all the controls properly arranged, and as you can see, I can simply drag and drop wherever I want with the pixel perfect control to have all my content display. So I just have created filters and input controls and highlighted a couple of new capabilities what we plan to deliver for 2.0. And one thing to highlight here is on the visual appearance of the controls. As you can see, we have worked a lot on the visual appearance of the input controls to make sure it goes along well with the other components on your storyboard. Moving on, now I want to highlight a couple of enhancements we have on the story and layouting capabilities itself in Lumira 2.0. So now I want to insert a KPI tile. So when I insert a KPI tile, it would actually make use of the intelligent placement capability what we have in Lumira 2.0 to place the tile by looking at the space available. So when I insert the tile, it just comes here because this is the available space on the entire canvas. So what I can do is I can create a tile by dragging and dropping interaction. And it gets updated and I can resize it the way I want it for my representation. And I do want this on actually my left hand side. I can move around, manage the size, and then I can continue with the typical story building capabilities where I want to give a title to this story. I can go to the design tab, give a title. I can change the size of the text box, and just like the visualization, even for all the other components, we do have the contextual actions where you can actually work with the colors and the formatting and all the capabilities. So I can straight away here change the color formatting, and I can also add a couple of illustrations. For example, I want to add an illustration for interactions. So I just drag and drop, and here as you can see, I can overlap any object on top of any other object without doing much of an effort. It's simple. Place on top of the object, it simply gets overlapped. And as I mentioned earlier, I can select multiple components and move them with the pixel perfect analysis capability we have. So I can increase the title here. And now the another important thing what I want to share as part of the enhancements in layout and story building is I can simply make you reuse any object what I have created on the canvas. For example, I have created a visualization. I can simply copy and paste it on the canvas. Now I can continue analyzing, further analyzing on the new components what I've just created. I can change the visualization type, or I can do further analysis on top of it. So I can turn this to a bar chart right here and further continue analyzing by adding a reference line or a conditional format or whatever it is. Or even I can simply duplicate my pages or even a story. So whatever you have created as part of Lumira 2.0 Discovery from component to story, you can actually reuse and extend all those components by making use of the copy-paste functionality what we plan to provide as part of 2.0. And I can further continue to enhance my story by adding a background color or the image. So in this case, I'll add an image. And in 2.0, we provide a capability where you can control the opacity of the background image for your story. Now, once I'm done with all my analysis, I want to share one important capability is the aspect ratios. So earlier we had a standard and extended aspect ratio. As part of 2.0, we are adding a BI Launchpad and custom aspect ratio. So when you create a stories using BI Launchpad aspect ratio, you can actually view those stories on the BI Launchpad utilizing the entire scheme piece you have real estate you have on the BI Launchpad. So let me just open this story which I have created and saved on the Launchpad with the BI Launchpad aspect ratio. So with this aspect ratio, the application takes care of rendering the story on the available space within the Launchpad without having a scroll bar as we used to have earlier, or reducing the entire story to a small 40% screen space on the Launchpad. And with the custom aspect ratio, you can define the aspect ratio depending on the target device where you want to consume the story on. For example, a large screen device or a mobile phone, you can define the aspect ratio, height and width, and build the stories which can be rendered with a responsive layout on those devices. And the another important capability available for personalization in Lumira 2.0 is bookmarking. So as part of bookmarking, what we can do in 2.0 is I can make use of a reference line, for example. I create a dynamic reference line, click on OK. And also I create a calculated measure. So let me create a calculation, percentage of, create a running total. Now I did certain calculations on the data. I did analyze my data by adding reference line, creating a running total, and I can now save this as a bookmark and provide a description. I can make it a personal or a global bookmark and set it as a default bookmark as well. So whenever I open the document, this becomes a default view for me. So now as an end user, when I move and access this bookmark, I do get additional information whether it's a personal or a global bookmark. And also, apart from the filters which was supported in 1.x, the application keeps track of all the calculation or analysis you did on data while creating a bookmark. So all those calculations and analysis you did would be available for you on the bookmark as part of 2.0 Discovery. So with this, let me move on to nice story what I created out of the data with lot more formatting, all did as part of Lumira 2.0 Discovery, just to highlight the kind of stories as business users with the Lumira which could be built using the capabilities of the tool. So here is a quick preview of the story, kind of stories which you can build, dashboards which you can build with the Lumira Discovery using all the capabilities we have in terms of the analysis and the formatting. So now let me move on to quickly highlight the new connectivity type, that is the BW Live connectivity, what we are trying to deliver as part of Lumira 2.0. So as you can see here, we have two options for SAP BW, that's live and import. Live is an online connectivity where we delegate all the calculations to underlying BW server, with which we would be taking advantage of all the elements and the properties set on the text queries. And import is download from SAP BW option what we had earlier where we used to acquire the data from BW. So that would continue to be supported, but for now I'll show you how the live connectivity works. So now let me log on to the BW system. Just like any other client, while connecting to the BW system, I can make use of search or navigate by roles or info areas to get the query I want to continue my analysis on. Then a list of the queries, click on OK. Now I get the variable screen as I have created a variable on the next query. So I can type in the value, or I can go to list of values and select the value. Once I'm done with entering the value for the variables, click on OK. And I get into the canvas. So in this canvas, I can make use of all the functionalities what I discussed earlier in terms of analysis and building a story on top of this BW-like connectivity, except the data preparation capabilities what I spoke about. Because we are delegating all the calculations to BW, we do not provide options here to enrich or enhance the data, rather depend on the underlying system. While connecting to BW in an online mode, one important thing what I like to keep in mind is instead of dragging and dropping the measures and dimensions, we recommend to drag and drop the entire data set. So you get the initial view what is set on the big screen. Now I want to change the visualization to a crosstab for this data, which is a good representation to analyze this data. So let me get into the maximize mode. So apart from variables, another important capability of the BW system is on the hierarchies. So I can make use of all the hierarchical functionalities like collapse, expand to particular level. So I want to expand to level 3, or expand a particular node by clicking on plus and minus plus icon. So I can make use of all these hierarchy analysis capability as part of live connectivity in 2.0. And also I can switch between different hierarchy definitions for a particular characteristic right here. And also I can work on different display formats. For example, I can have a display of key and text together for my analysis. So I just added key for my analysis here. And also I can do number formatting, suppress zero columns, all the typical capabilities we have on any online BW connectivity tool like Vex Web Analyzer or ad hoc analysis template in Design Studio. Or I can actually also add dynamic calculations which are supported by the underlying BW system. So I just now added dynamic calculation. In addition to that, I can make use of all the analysis capabilities what we have in Discovery itself as a tool. So I can continue to analyze the data further. I add a visualization just like as I did in the earlier demo. I drag and drop the measures and dimensions. Create a visualization. I can right click and make use of the contextual analysis capabilities to, for example, create a reference line which you have in Discovery as a capability, and you can see a reference line. And I can go to a design tab and make use of all these different components like text, images, illustrations to convert this into a story. So as I mentioned at the beginning, with the BW live connectivity in Discovery, we are trying to deliver strength of two different products together, that is the experience and the analysis capability, client-side analysis capability in Discovery, combined with the strength of BW engine with the elements and the calculations together. This brings me to the end of the demo what I wanted to share on Lumira 2.0 Discovery. And let me now hand it over to G to show how the stories created and the data acquired in Lumira Discovery can be extended and create offline applications along with couple of interesting enhancements coming in designer application itself. Over to you, Ji.
So here I would like to cover the designer part, the features, functions that we have for the Lumira designer. As you already heard before, that the Lumira 2.0 are consistent of the two clients, that's a Discovery designer with a common server add-on. So we are using with the common server add-on, we are leveraging the same technology actually, the whole visualizations, whole geo maps, input controls, etc. And also here I would like to highlight that what's new with the Lumira 2.0 designer. So Lumira 2.0 designer is the further development of the Design Studio 1.6. So we have the new feature like composites, also called reusable objects. So that means within the design environment, you are able to create the objects what you want. For example, KPI tile, for example, application header, for example, application footer. You can define as a component, then publish on the BI platform. Then every user who is authorized to this document, he is able to reuse this component also in his application. So with this reusable objects, we can extremely lower the change management cost. So in case you want to do a central change, for example, the application header, somewhere the color should be changed, in that case, or a button should be removed, in that case, you don't need to go through your all 100 applications. You only need to change in a central places. Then all the applications that use the objects will automatically get this application. So that's the concept of the composites. And in case of the mobile support, we also have the have a responsive layout for the mobile display. That means you need to only develop your application once. Then you can deploy this application in 4 different screen size or different devices. For example, iPad or iPhone or any Windows mobile services. And then the layout of the application will be automatically adjusted itself. So that's a responsive layout using the new component, adaptive layout container. And also in case you are deploying application on the mobile devices, iPhone, iPad, this application will be automatically getting scrolled and also can be zoomed. So scrolling and zooming for the mobile devices also enabled, will be enabled with Lumira 2.0 designer. In addition, we have a reworked bookmark concept. Here we have a completely new bookmark concept for the 2.0. And with this bookmark concept is actually a technical component with the designer. And with this technical component, you are able to much flexible to define what you want to bookmark. And also, this bookmark is much more robust comparing to the 1.6, the application bookmarks. And we are supporting the personal bookmarks and the global bookmarks. Personal bookmarks means only I can see it, and the global bookmarks means if the bookmark installed in that folder and other users have the authorization to the folder, then other users can also access these global bookmarks. And we will deliver the promotion management, the transportation management for the bookmarks and folders. We have PDF enhancements. PDF is also a new technical component in the 2.0. With this new technical component, we are able to export geo maps and on the chart and also cross-tab to the PDF. And the chart export of the chart quality is much improved. And we have also the configuration options either on the design part, also in the end user part for the PDF header, PDF footer, and also the information for the appendix, so you are able to configure it. We have the charting enhancements. So we have a couple of new charts, and because we're using the same chart component as Discovery client, so all the chart type existing in Discovery will also be available in the designer. And we have done some consolidation of the combination chart, and we have significantly extended the chart configurations for end users by using the context menu right mouse click. So that's the same like Discovery client. We have geo enhancements. For the designer, we have S3 as a base map in the 2.0. That means if you want to use the S3 as the base map, you don't need to purchase extra license. This license is already included in the Lumira 2.0. And we have the clustering capabilities for markers and bubbles, and we are support the data selection on the geomap itself. And we have some table enhancements, and we also have some new components and conditional formatting based on the cross-tab or based on as dimension and measure-based conditional formatting. And in addition, we also have the much improved variable and member handling. We have a consistent dimension and member handling. This is actually a custom sorting. Means you can define your custom sorting for all your dimensions, reuse that in each filter component, like a filter panel, filter line, dimension filter, etc. You can use this consistent or custom sorting capabilities. We have the for the planning function, we can lock the entire rows and also columns for this planning application. And we have the additional exporting functionality, means we are now able to export data into the analysis office to taking over the navigation status, taking over the filter, and the user can to do the further analysis using the analysis office environment. So that's the feature overview. What we have with the Designer 2.0. Now I'm going to show you the live demo. Of course, you are able to separate to working in the Designer to create different applications and so on. But as the Lumira 2.0 highlight, we know that with the Discovery client, with the Velocity engine, we are able to use the offline data sources in the Designer to create a Designer application. So that I would like to show you now. That we start with the Discovery client, and for example, to do a query scenario with the SAP BW system. So here that, for example, I would like to acquire the data from the BW system. So here select a particular query I want to acquire and go to the next. And then I can select the, because this query contains a variable, so I can select a variable value during the importing scenario. And I can actually select the dimensions, key figures I want to import into my Discovery client, into the Velocity engine. So all of that, I want to import all of that. And for the product, I would like to the import as key, and also in order to reduce some data, and I can actually to do a filter to only select the year 2010. So click on apply. Start the visualization. So with this couple of steps, I have imported the BW data for year 2010 and into the Discovery client, into the Velocity engine. So what we can see here is if I click on the data view, and you will see the data that I just uploaded from the BW system. So now with the Discovery client, I'm able to actually add another data set. For example, this data set is existing, a CSV file existing on my local laptop. It's regarding the classification of the product. Click on Start Visualization. So now what I would like to do is I would like to merge these two data sets for the acquired data from BW, and the other is my CSV file. So I can click on this merge data set and also select these keys, what I want to use for the merge, that's the product, and select the join type, left outer join or inner join, and then click OK. So in that step, I have acquired BW data and also merged with a CSV file together. And we see that product key classification, that merged data set is available actually in this data set. So with that, I can go to the storyboard, for example, with this prepared data set, acquired data set. I can very easily to do the visualization like my colleague Ramu already showed before. So you can drag and drop, and also I just easily create, for example, a cross step. Also for that, click on that. And I would like to actually add a net value into this currency based on the classification, for example, and also based on, for example, the country. So let's do the drag and drop. You see, I can always do the drag and drop for the cross step and also for the chart. And now I can, for example, go right mouse click for the cross tab to the maximize mode and to add another custom calculation. For example, calculated key figure, maybe test KPI 1, and using the formula open order in statistic, not quantity. I want to open order in statistic currency divided the whole net value statistic currency. So that's what I want. Click on OK. Then I have actually added a calculated key figure on the data set level. So I just minimize it. So what I'm doing is here is actually to get the data from acquire data from BW, merge with the CSV file, created a visualization, created a calculated key figure. So I have done the data preparation, defined the calculated key figure. Now I would like to actually just save this document. Say save as webinar. Click on that. Click on save. So far, I have prepared the data in the Discovery client and created some easy visualizations. Now I would like to show you how we can reuse this data set also in the designer to reuse this offline data set. Now I'm getting into my designer. Designer is actually the design studio part. That's Eclipse-based environment. And here I can create using the designer capabilities to create different kind of applications. So first I have looked into the what we already created in Discovery to open that in the designer. So because currently I'm in the run local mode, just click on the refresh. And when you document, so actually I call that somehow webinar. We see that's exactly this document I created before in the Discovery client. And the story, all what you created in the Discovery client is a story. That's actually a technical component in the designer. So we will see exactly the visualizations of what we have. That's exactly the visualizations what we have. You see, also calculated key figures is taking over from Discovery to designer. So now if we go to the outline, we can exactly see which kind of data source behind there. So each visualization will actually produce a data source. So the first data source is for the chart, second data source is for the cross tab. And if we can also here to not reset and just actually to edit initial view. So here we can exactly adjust, maybe just change initial view what I want and click on the OK. So here is actually using the designer capability, you can modify the initial views and modify also the data source status. So that's what we actually got from the discoveries. We do a little modification on that. That's the stories. And now what I would like to do is, based on the stories, I would like to create an application. So that's the webinar test app. And maybe I want to use some predefined template to click on the create. Then we are able to, here you see already the application using some CSS. That's a template. That's my template. Then I can directly reuse what I got from the discovery. So just directly click and drag and drop. So in the canvas, we can see the discovery part is directly reused in the application body area. So that's exactly what we have defined in the discovery. And then now we can have actually different capabilities and also to create the application. For example, I don't need this element from the template. What I want to have is to add a reusable object. So I have created a tile, actually a reusable component called a tile. That's a KPI tile. I have created it, published on BI Launchpad, and I'm able to use it. So this tile is appear in the components list. You see on the composites, you see this tile. Then I can reuse in my application. So it's like other SAP component. You just drag and drop to put on the application here, for example. And then now the next step would be to get data sources on it. So we go to our application, go to Outline, click on the data sources. So here is how you are reuse the offline data sources. You click Add Offline Data Sources. That's exactly 2 offline data sources that I have created in the Discovery client. You see, that's exactly these 2 offline data sources. I can now taking over into my application. So click on OK. We add these offline data sources. We can click on the initial view to change some, for example, add another product group, and then click on OK. Then we can actually go to our KPI tile, the reusable objects, and also tag some tiles, sales revenue, and also, for example, in case I want to display value, I can using the data binding capabilities. So all of these tile, the properties, data binding capabilities, you are defined in your tile component. And then I click on that. Then I can very easily to using the data binding to connect a text element with a key figure that's coming from the BW backend or acquired data sources. So in that case, I can already run this application. It's a very easy application, but here I want to highlight the workflow that you can acquire the offline data, BW data or CSV file, you can acquire using the Discovery client and adding some custom calculations. And then reuse this data set actually in the designer and using the designer template capabilities, scripting CSS capabilities to create the application as you wish. So that, for example, if I invest more time, I could, for example, create this kind of application. Again, here is a reusable object, this tile, and down here is the information what I got from the Discovery. In the designer within this app, I have added some scripting capabilities to enable some interaction between different components. So that's what we can do in the designer. I have put all of these objects into a page book that I can swipe. That's for a mobile applications. So that's also this page book component. That's a designer component. That's one example. Or I can also to reuse my objects to copy paste all of my Discovery objects into application. Then I have full flexibility to actually organize how I want to create my application. Here you see again the application actually KPI and these 4 actually, and also with GeoMap are coming from the Discovery, and I can enable this actually the interaction between the components. You see, I click on Germany, it shows me also GeoMap and other components are getting filtered. So this kind of interaction, you can define that actually in the designer. Click on that, and others also. You see actually the interlinkage between different components can be done in the designer. And also that we can to do the adaptive layout container mean this application can be published to the different devices and the layout will be adjusted itself. For example, I just simulate that in my browser. Currently, I am publishing to iPhone. You see that because iPhone has really less spaces, I can all of the objects are moved down. I need to scroll on my mobile devices. And now I can also publish to the iPad. I have more spaces, then 2 charts can be placed in the parallel, and also the GeoMap need the spaces, and the KPI tile can be displayed in the parallel. 2 can be displayed in the parallel. The others will be moved down. And if I go directly go to the desktop representation, then we see that I have more spaces. So 4 KPI tiles will be displayed in one row. So that's exactly the responsive layout concept. I only need to define once in my design time for this application. Then I can have 4 different options that the layout of the application will adjust itself. Depends on which actually devices, which size of screen resolution I am. And also with the Lumira 2.0, we are able to export all of the data, what we have, into the analysis office. So here, for example, I want to export the cross-step data. You can also export the chart data. This export to analysis office is only connected to the data sources. So I click on that, opening this analysis office. These Excel will be started. because I'm running local here, so I think I need to, of course, because I'm running locally here, actually from design and also analysis office, I need to log into the BW backend system again. So that's here how these data sources, these data from the cross tab are taking over into the analysis office. That's exactly what we see. Also here, that's the cross tab data with the conditional formatting is taken into analysis office. Now you can further doing the slide size also in the analysis office. So let's come back. So that's exactly this conditional formatting, this green one. So that's the responsive layout plus the export to the analysis office. So you see all of actually my application here. That's another example also based on the offline data sources. And I can also, using the geomaps, extend, add another layer, custom layers on the design to make actually this geomap to have the custom shape, for example, in that case. Click on that one, and we will actually dive from the region to the state, and then from state to the city. And if we have two cities, we're able to actually using the selection options to select on the particular bubble. Then you see all of the data are actually already filtered. And we have a bookmarking also here functionality for this app. For this bookmarking, you see we have the personal type and also global type. And for the personal bookmarking, you can actually exactly now, for example, I would like to add another bookmark, for example, click on the open and give a title and give also on the folder in case you are on the BI platform. Then click on the save. Then we have actually also have saved another bookmark. So let me now just open the other bookmark. So there are breakpoint, but you see the bookmark will be get loaded. That's the view that I saved last time. So this bookmark actually also the new concept, that is how the bookmark dialog could look like for the personal or global type. Okay, good. So that you see I have a lot of different applications based on this KPI tile. Now you say, I want to change the layout of this KPI tile. So in that case, because this is actually a reusable object, that's why we don't need to go to thousands of applications to change it. I only need to change in the central places. For example, the title, I would like to have the add the color. It should be blue instead of the black. Click on that. And we go to our runtime to refresh my application here again. Then we see the title of this KPI tile will be automatically changed to blue. So you see that's blue. And also refresh this application, this also gets in blue. So here is actually, you see the power of composites. Means if you have created application, if you create composites, in case you need to change something, you only need to change in a central places. Then all of the related application will automatically adapt your changes. So that's a typical example. You can now build your application, for example, header as a reusable object, KPI tile as a reusable object, application footer as a reusable object, all things what you want. And in all of these objects can be reused in the multiple applications. So in case of the change, that will be much easier for you to change your applications. Even you can also build the bookmark dialog as a composite. That's what we can see here. For example, I have also built a bookmark dialog as a composite and use this bookmark dialog in each and everywhere in my application. In case I say I need to add another button, I only need to do that in a central places, and then all my application which contains bookmark will be automatically take the changes. Okay, that's the composite concept. Another one would like to show you actually the planning application. So the planning application is within the designer, we are support the planning features, planning functions, planning sequence that coming from the BW backend. So what I can do is I can trigger a planning function. That's to copy, for example, the actual value to the plan value. So this function is defined in the BW backend. In the designer, I can trigger that. You see all of the plan actual value is copied to the plan value. Now you can, of course, also do some manual planning. Then you see the chart also change according to your cross step. And I can also change it on the result cell and also click on the refresh. And we see also the chart and also calculate the key figure, all related to my cross step information. And I can lock the entire column. Means if I want to plan anything, this column should not be affected at all. And finally, I can save at the BW backend. Click on the Save button means I have saved my planned value to the BW backend. And the write back, this is actually a write back mechanism. So here is again the dual map functionality. So I can click on that, get into the second layer, that's a bubble. So that's the S3 map. I can switch to the different views, and also I can to do some data selections also on the geomap side. Then we see that the cross step chart also change accordingly to that. And with that, and would maybe just another typical example that you can also do that with the Lumira 2.0. You can build with the designer. It's really the very flexible client and user capability of the scripting APIs. You can really build different kind of applications. So we see that all of the dashboard scenario. And I think you're also aware that we have also this generic analysis template, that with this template, we still also deliver with the 2.0. You can to do actually your drag and drop analysis within here. And we have also the conditional formatting also on the cross-tab level, that you are able to, independent from the BW, the backend could be BW, could be HANA, that could be universes. And here you can actually define your own conditional formatting rules and go to the edit. Say I don't want to only see the background color. I want to actually change to some status symbol. Click on that. Click on OK. We see the conditional formatting representation has changed. So this dialog, conditional formatting, you can define your individual rules. And this, of course, the runtime configuration. If you want to see these settings again, then you need to actually save that as a bookmark. And export functionality, we have Excel, PDF, and also export to the analysis office. So that's generic analysis template we still also deliver with Lumira 2.0. Then we go back to the last application. So this is a typical application with a KPI tile with multiple tabs, and also with the with the KPI tile with the key figure, with graphs, and also, for example, with maps. And what we can do is here, I can go to the start side. For each tile, I can get into a detailed page, for example, to navigate, to see the diagram comparison actual period to the period before, and to see the description of this key figure, how this key figure is calculated. And I can also go back home screen. I can just create, click on the plus sign. I can add the other key figures I'm interested in it, click on that, and then I see actually the other key figures. From the other key figure, I can always to get into the detailed page, click on that, and go back, and also I can here do some searching. For example, Frauen, that's German. So for the women quote as a key figure, it asks me it should show you the navigation or directly navigate to the detail page. I say I want to directly see the data page. So that's actually the detail page for the key figure women quote. And I can go back home again. And here is another actually the close. And the next time if I get into this application, I automatically see also this added key figure, because as I click on OK button, it has done a personalization for me. So you see with the designer, Lumira designer, you are also able to create this kind of really rich interactive applications within the different tabs, and also the navigations with each KPI navigated to the detailed pages, etc. All of that application require intense navigation, intense logic, a rich interaction. You can use designer to build that. Okay, I think that's the demo I would like to show you, and then I Thank you.